So today we're going to be starting with the next module that we have according to our calendar, module C of the, unit A of the third module that we're doing. Let's see. Okay. So we're going to start by continuing watching the videos that we are usually watching about Nick, Talia, Tony to see how the story goes. And then what we have for today in the grammar part is we're going to be reviewing past continuous form. But we're going to try to review all of the past tenses, including past simple, past continuous, and maybe even the perfect tenses, to kind of see the differences, because we'd already seen the past continuous before. I remember, I don't know, it was, I think, what would be. So we're going to try to make a quick review of the different past tenses. Okay? Is that okay? Do you have any questions perhaps before we start?
Not knowledge.
Okay, so let's see what we have in our story.
Hello. Jackie Baker, please.
Oh, I'm sorry, but there's no Jackie Baker here.
Do you mind if I look at that?
Not at all. Have a look. Let me guess. You're Nick.
That's right. How did you know?
Oh, you're famous around here.
Oh. Do you follow soccer?
Soccer? No, never watch it. I was listening when that woman called you. I overheard everything.
Well, that's great.
She was really angry. Well, I've seen angry before, but she was like really irate.
I know. I was there. Say, do you know what time it is?
Nearly 5. I was just getting ready to leave when you arrived.
It's probably too late anyway. The news is going to be on in an hour.
I'm so sorry, Adri, I was having problems with my monitor, so it just restarted. I couldn't see anything from my screen, and I didn't know how to tell you.
I didn't listen.
Yeah, sorry. So, what can you tell me about the video? What's happening?
Tony went to supposed offices of company shoes, and then she went to the secretary, and a secretary says that something like, "You are so famous person," something like this. He believes that it was for soccer, but the secretary didn't have idea about this. And then the secretary says that the girl was so angry. And Tony says that he knows that. And then he says that the news is going to be in 1 hour.
The news is going to be aired in 1 hour. The secretary had no idea, right, about that. Had no idea. No tiene idea. Had no idea. No tuvo idea. No, has no idea. No tiene idea. She has no idea who Nick is from soccer, but she overheard. Overhear significa escuchar una conversación por accidente, pero no necesariamente accidentalmente, ¿no? Pero escuchar una conversación ajena, overhear. So she overheard the conversation that Talia and Nick had. I don't know if it was the day before or what, where Talia was yelling at Nick. And she had no idea who he was from soccer. And Nick seems a little bit worried. Okay. Now, what does the receptionist tell Nick?
There is no one named Jackie Baker in the boat.
There's no one named Jackie Baker. How does the receptionist know Nick's name?
She listened to Talia's phone conversation with Nick.
She listened to Talia's phone conversation with Nick. She overheard Talia's phone conversation. When will the news be on television?
At 6.
Because in the video, the receptionist says that it's fine, right?
Yeah.
She was just getting to leave when Nick arrived. She was just getting ready to leave. When Nick says it's probably too late anyway, what does he mean?
The news will be on some.
The news will be on. Okay. So in the video, they use different past tenses. They actually use two, the simple past and the past continuous. For example, in the beginning, it says,
Baker here.
Do you mind if I look at that?
Not at all. Look.
That's right. How did you know?
Oh, you're famous around here.
Oh. Do you follow soccer?
Soccer? No, never watch it. I was listening when that woman called you.
for example, past continuous, right? I was listening when that woman called you.
I overheard everything.
Well, that's great.
That is passive.
She was really angry. Well, I've seen angry before, but she was like really irate.
I know. I was there. Say, do you know what time it is?
Nearly 5. I was just getting ready to leave when you arrived.
I was just getting ready to leave when you arrived. So we have seen some uses of the past continuous, and now we're going to see the differences between different past tenses that we have, especially with questions, which tends to be a little bit harder in English. So let's see what we have here. I'm going to read these biography. And we're going to try to learn or try to see what the words involved mean from the context. Okay, so could you please read out loud the first paragraph?
Yeah. Grumpy cat is one of the most famous animals of the 20th century. She was born in Arizona in the USA in 2012. Her owner was Bahata Tolstoy. First name her Tarda sauce because the kitchen original orange color reminded her of a sauce of the fish restaurant where she was working. Grumpy Cat and her brother Pokey both Finland fish, which gave them their unusual appearance. However, neither of them were really grumpy at all.
All right, thank you so much. What do you think grumpy means?
No parecidos.
Neither of them were really grumpy at all. I mean, no, they're talking about, they're not saying one to each other, right? They're not talking about they were similar or not. It says, which gave them their unusual appearance. However, neither of them were really grumpy at all.
Or maybe of the color, maybe.
Maybe, but grumpy is an adjective that describes character. What do you think it could be? What does it sound like?
I'm sorry?
It describes character. It's an adjective that describes character.
This adjective.
Adjective, yes, it describes character.
She describes like orange color because remaining of the sales of the British restaurant.
It doesn't describe appearance, it describes character. It means gruñón. Grumpy means gruñón or gruñón. Do you have any other questions about any other words here?
Yeah. Her brother Pokey both had a feline. I don't know what is.
Line is felino. Well, that comes from cats, felino.
Okay. And the next word, dwarfish.
Dwarfism means some like people, or in this case, animals that are really small, enanismo. Dwarfism. So somebody that's un enano is dwarf.
Okay. Okay.
So could you please read the next paragraph now?
Yeah. Grumpy quickly became an internet meme after her oldest brother, Brian Bonston, posted a photo of her on the website Reddit when she was just a kitten. She was soon appearing regularly on TV shows like Good Morning America, and her pictures were used in books and calendars. Her 2013 book, Jumpy Cat, a Jumpy Book, made in the New York Times bestseller list. In 2014, she starred in the film Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever. She also worked for the cat food brand Friskies. Jumpy was never in front of the cameras for long, and her owner said, "We have never given her drugs to make her easy to handle." Teacher, your microphone is off.
I'm sorry. Thank you so much. So she quickly became an internet meme, right? She became an internet meme. Grumpy, and made, right? Made the New York Times bestseller list. with those pronunciations. Can you pronounce those three words? Mean, grumpy, and made.
Mean, grumpy, and made.
Much. Any vocabulary here?
No.
Okay. And what about the next one? So,
In May 2019, Grumpy's owners announced that she had died of an infection. At the time of her death, she had 8.3 million followers on Facebook, 2.4 million on Instagram, and 1.5 million on Twitter. Her owners say that Grumpy had changed their lives for the better, allowing them to spend more time together as a family. Grumpy's fans have missed her, but at least they have some pictures to remember her by.
okay, thank you so much. Any questions? Any vocabulary about this last paragraph?
No.
Okay. So I think you know what the other words involved mean, don't you? Do you know what a meme is?
Maybe it's like a funny post.
Exactly. It's like a funny post, a funny picture. What do you know what a bestseller is?
Maybe something like so seller in the market.
Something very sold in the market. Muy vendido, ¿no? So something that is sold a lot. Drugs, medicine, and an infection is a type of disease. I don't know if it's not. Okay. So a book or other product that has sold millions of copies is a
Etc.
bestseller. Medicines that are sometimes taken to improve behavior or relax are
Drugs.
drugs. Complaining, easily annoyed, not really enjoying life.
Could I see the other words? Grumpy.
Grumpy, exactly. A condition caused by viruses or bacteria entering the body.
Infection.
Infection, and an idea that spreads quickly on the internet. Meme, right? Not necessarily an idea, but like a joke. Okay, so we have some questions here. We're going to try to choose the correct form of the verb to complete this question. They're about the text we read. And these are using different past tenses. So for example, what tense would you use for the first question?
What did Tahaba Botsen first name Jumpy Cat?
Exactly. What did Batsa first name Grumpy Cat? In this case, this is the simple past. Right? How do we know that it's a simple past? Because of the auxiliary form. It's in the simple past. Did. And then we have the verb name in the basic form, right? Because the auxiliary is already in the past. What did you do yesterday? Yesterday, I worked all day. Do you know when we use the simple past?
Yeah, maybe when some action just happened in the past and finished in the past.
Yes, it doesn't necessarily have to just happen in the past. It doesn't have to be recent. But as you said, when it's a completed event, something that already happened and already finished in the past, usually when we talk about one-time things that only happen once, so she named her cat only once, or in this case twice, right? But we're talking about the two different times. When we talk about specific times as well, specific points in time. So, I don't know, in late 2020, I started working in this company. I started working. Why am I using started? Because it's a specific time, something that was completed in the past. Okay, what about the second question? How would you complete that question?
Where was Tabata husband working when Grumpy Cat was born.
Exactly. Where was Tabata Bunsen working when Grumpy Cat was born? So this is the past continuous. When do we use the past continuous? Do you know?
To say something past in the past too, but like in progressive.
We talk about things that happen in progress in the past. And usually when we talk about things that were happening in the past and something interrupted that action. And that's the example that we have here, right? Tabata was working in this place when Grumpy Cat was born. So this action, Grumpy Cat being born, happened in the middle of this activity that was going on in progress, right? The same thing as, for example, the example that we had in the video, where the secretary says, I was just getting ready to leave when you arrived. So she was getting ready to leave and Nick arrived in the middle. So that action was interrupted by another action. Or the other thing that she says, I was listening your conversation when Talia called you. So she was listening when Talia called. So activities that were happening in progress in the time, in the past. We don't care about when, but we care about the fact that they were in progress. What about number 3? How would you complete that one?
Why did Grumpy and Porky have an unusual appearance?
Exactly. Why did Grumpy and Pokey have an unusual appearance? Why did they? Okay. Do you remember these details by any chance?
The first, no.
Okay.
The second, I guess that Arizona.
Okay, I think it was Arizona. Yes. Where was Tabata working when Grumpy Cat was born? I think she was working at a restaurant. Right? I don't know if it was in Arizona, maybe, but she was working at a restaurant. And the first name that Grumpy Cat had was tartar sauce. Okay. Why did Grumpy and Pokey have an unusual appearance? Do you remember that?
They were feeling dashing.
I'm sorry, they were?
You were feeling dashing.
They were feeling dwarfs, right? They were dwarf. And what about the fourth question? How would you complete that question?
Who did post a photo Grumpy on Reddit?
Okay, are you sure?
Did post.
Did post the photo?
I don't know if in all questions we need to use the auxiliary in the post. Did.
Yes, all questions except some of the ones that start with the question word who, and the same thing happens in the simple present as well. So what happens is when we're asking for who, that means that we don't know the subject, right? Normal questions have a subject, like what did you do yesterday? Right? Let's say what or when did you have breakfast? Same thing in the simple present. Why do you get up so early? Right? So normal questions, what, when, why, how, for how long, how often, where, all of those question words usually have a subject, right? You, and we can talk about other people as well. When did she leave? When did she leave? Right? It doesn't necessarily have to be you. We can talk about anybody. But they all have a subject, right? So the order is, as we know, we have the auxiliary verb first, then we have the subject, and then we have the verb. Same thing here, auxiliary, subject, and verb. It doesn't matter if it's present or past. Auxiliary, subject, and verb. Now, when we ask questions with who, depending on the context, sometimes we don't know the subject. And that's actually what we're trying to find out, right? We don't know, let's say that, I don't know, I get home, I open the fridge, and I see that the sandwich that I left this morning is not there anymore. So I need to find out who ate my sandwich. So I'm gonna be like, who ate my sandwich? In this case, the reason why I'm not using an auxiliary verb is because I don't have a subject either. The subject is who. I don't know who the subject is, right? ¿Quién comió mi sandwich? Who ate my sandwich? In this case, I don't have the subject you. So where would I place the auxiliary, right? I cannot say who did eat my sandwich, because in that case, I would be missing my subject. Since the subject is already who is like the subject of the sentence, of the question in this case, then I just need subject and verb, right? Subject and verb. So who ate my sandwich? In this case, if I'm asking for the subject, si estoy preguntando por el sujeto, no necesito el auxiliar porque no tengo el sujeto, ¿no? El sujeto es el who. Y obviamente, si no tengo un auxiliar, no voy a poner did. El verbo tiene que estar conjugado. A diferencia en este otro caso, que como ya tenía el auxiliar did y ya estaba conjugado en pasado, el verbo estaba en su forma básica. What did you do? What did you eat? Pero como acá no tengo el auxiliar did, entonces el verbo tiene que estar conjugado. Who ate my sandwich? Same thing happens in these cases. For example, I would ask in the simple present, when does she get home? Right? ¿Cuándo llega a casa? When does she get home? Como ya tengo el auxiliar conjugado, el verbo está en su forma básica, she get. Pero en caso de que la pregunta esté preguntando por el sujeto who gets home at 5? In that case, I don't have the auxiliary does, because I don't have a subject. Subject is who. So the verb has to be conjugated. El verbo tiene que estar conjugado siempre en tercera persona. Who gets home at 6? Who likes this? Who likes music? Who plays basketball? Always with an S, because we assume that the subject is a someone that we don't know. It's third person singular. ¿Quién? Siempre es singular. Nunca es plural. ¿Quién es? No existe en inglés. Siempre es quién. Entonces, en ese tipo de preguntas donde el who pregunta por el sujeto, no necesitamos un auxiliar. ¿Ok? Ahora, no siempre va a ser preguntas con who. Por ejemplo, ¿por qué ahora tengo? En estos dos sí tengo el auxiliar do y did.
Okay.
Why? Why do I have the auxiliary now? Porque aquí sí tengo el auxiliar si es con who y en los anteriores no.
Because in this case, we have the subject.
Y we have the subject. En este caso ya sabemos el sujeto. Lo que queremos averiguar es el objeto. Ya no es el sujeto. Sabemos quién es la persona de la que estamos hablando. Tú llamaste. Entonces, tú eres el sujeto, el que realiza la acción. Tú vives con alguien. Entonces, tú eres el sujeto, el que realiza la acción. Buscamos el objeto. Entonces, en ese caso, si tenemos el sujeto, tenemos el sujeto, sí necesitamos el auxiliar. Auxiliar, sujeto y verbo. Who did you call? Who do you live with? Who are you here with? Pero en caso de que no esté el sujeto y estemos preguntando por el sujeto, ahí no se necesita el auxiliar. Who posted the photo? Who called me last night? ¿Quién me llamó anoche? Who called me last night? We want to know that. That's cool, right? ¿Entienden?
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, question 4 would be,
Who posted a photo of Grumpy on Reddit?
do you remember who it was?
Who, the cat?
I mean, who posted a photo of the cat?
I don't know, the uncle, I guess.
Yeah, I think it was the brother of the owner. I'm not sure. It says after her owner's brother.
Oh.
Alright. What about question 5?
Some after the Reddit post, where was Grumpy regularly appearing?
Exactly. Where was Grumpy regularly active? Well, this is in progress, something that didn't just happen once and ended there, but something that was happening repeatedly in progress many times. He was regularly active. He was active, right? He was active on track. Técnicamente teníamos que decir it, pero es muy común, por ejemplo, acá en el reading, que le pongan un pronombre de persona, ¿no? Miss her. She had died. Pero en realidad técnicamente debería ser it, ¿no? It had died. Miss it. Pero sí. Okay. What about question 6?
How did her owner say that Grumpy cat had died?
How did her owner say that Grumpy cat had died? Do you know what tense this is?
Present perfect, I guess.
It's the past.
Past. Present.
You know what?
No, I don't know how explain.
Okay. So let's try to answer the question and we'll answer it like that. It says, how did her owner say that Grumpy cat had died? So let's see, it says, Grumpy's owners announced that she had died of an infection. Okay. So here she's using, or they are using the past perfect. Grumpy's owners announced that she had died of an infection. ¿Cuándo usamos el pasado perfecto? Past perfect. We use it when we have two events, más de dos eventos, dos o más eventos, and we want to mark the sequence of events. We want to mark what happened first and what happened later. Tenemos dos eventos en el pasado y queremos, o dos o más eventos en el pasado, y queremos marcar qué pasó primero, qué pasó después en el pasado. Por ejemplo, acá, Grumpy's owners announced that she had died of an infection. ¿Qué pasó primero? Grumpy murió. Lo que está en pasado perfecto, past perfect, es lo que pasó primero en la secuencia de eventos. Primero, Grumpy murió. First, she died. And then, later after that, their owners announced. ¿No? Esto pasó después. Eso es simple past y pasó después. Entonces, utilizamos el pasado perfecto cuando tenemos varios eventos en el pasado. Tenemos que marcar qué pasó primero. El pasado perfecto se utiliza para hablar de qué pasó primero y luego lo demás puede ser en simple past. For example, let's say, I opened the fridge and I saw and I noticed that my brother had eaten my sandwich. I opened the fridge and I noticed that my brother had eaten my sandwich. So what happened first in that sentence?
Open the
You sure?
or maybe the brother eating the sandwich.
What happened first is that my brother ate my sandwich. When I opened the fridge, I noticed that my brother had eaten my sandwich. In the past, before I opened the fridge, my brother ate my sandwich, and then I opened the fridge. So we use the past perfect, my brother had eaten my sandwich, to show that sequence of events. What happened first, what happened later. So first, my brother ate my sandwich, and then I opened the fridge. It's the same as in Spanish. Abrí el refrigerador y noté que mi hermano se había comido mi sándwich antes de que yo abra el refri. And so I opened the refrigerator and I noticed that my brother had eaten the sandwich before. So Grumpy's owners announced that she had died of an infection. Los dueños anunciaron que había muerto de una infección antes de que lo anuncien. That's when we use the past perfect. ¿Entienden?
Yeah.
Okay. Question 7, how would you complete it?
How did her owner said that Grumpy Cat had changed their lives?
How did her owner say that Grumpy Cat had changed their lives? Exactly. Why? Because they said this, her owners said this after she died, right? Her owner said this after she died. So they were like, they said that she had changed their lives. So first she changed their lives and then they said it. Primero cambió sus vidas y después lo dijeron. Yeah? So how did her owner say that she had changed their lives?
They said that Jumpy had changed their lives for the better.
Exactly. So her owner said that Grumpy had changed their lives for the better. Primero les cambió la vida, luego murió, y luego dijeron eso sus dueños. Okay, and finally, question A, how would it be?
How have Jumpy Cat fans felt since her death?
Do you know when we use it or why we're using it here?
Like como and.
Exactly. And we use the present perfect to talk about things that started in the past, but that are still true now. So things that started in the past, but that are continuing until now. So Grumpy Cat fans have felt since her death. Desde su muerte until now, they are still feeling the same way, right? So we have different uses for the present perfect, but the most common use is that when we started an action in the past, but it still continues until now. So we can say, for example, I have lived in Bolivia, or I have lived in Cochabamba for 5 years. That means that I started living in Cochabamba 5 years ago, and until now I live in Cochabamba. So that is the difference, right? If I say I lived in Cochabamba for 5 years, simple past. Si digo yo viví en Cochabamba, I lived in Cochabamba for 5 years. What does this mean? This means that somewhere in time, I lived in Cochabamba for 5 years. Tal vez fue desde el 2003 hasta el 2008. Tal vez fue en este momento. O tal vez fue 2010 hasta el 2015. I lived in Cochabamba for 5 years. It's something that happened in the past, but it's a completed action. right? It's a completed action. Something I'm not living in Cochabamba, I'm not anymore. But if I say I have lived in Cochabamba for 5 years, that means that I started living in Cochabamba 5 years ago, so that would be 2018. And I am still living in Cochabamba now. So an action that started in the past and that continues until today. Right? So that is the difference between the simple present, the simple past and the past perfect. So in this case, how have fans felt since her death? So they started feeling this way when she died, and they still feel that way now. Right? Entonces tenemos el presente perfecto también. ¿Entienden?
Yeah.
Right? So we have seen a couple of them. We have seen simple past, completed actions, finished events, maybe at a specific point in time, things that happen only once or twice. We have seen past continuous when we talk about activities that were happening in progress and in the past. The present perfect, an action that started in the past and continues until now. And the past perfect, we want to mark the sequence of events. What happened first, what happened later in the past. Those are just some of the past tenses or different ways we can talk about the past. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. So here is the simple past. What did Tabata Bunsen first name Grumpy Cat? Why did Grumpy and Pokey have an unusual appearance? Who posted a photo of Grumpy on Reddit? So these are, what tense are these?
The first is past perfect. The second, no. Simple past. The second, past perfect. And the third, simple past, I guess.
Are you sure that the second is past perfect?
No, present perfect.
Are you sure? Because why did Grumpy and Pokey have an unusual appearance?
Simple past.
Simple past, ¿no? El did es el auxiliar que se utiliza para el simple past. Para el simple present es do, simple past did, el pasado de do, did. Que no te confunda have como verbo y have como auxiliar. En el presente perfecto, present perfect, we use have as an auxiliary verb, right? It's not the actual verb. Why haven't, or let's say, why have you called, why have you lived here? ¿Por qué has vivido acá? Why have you lived here? Aquí have no es el verbo tener, sino es un auxiliar. Has, ¿por qué has vivido? He vivido. El verbo es live, ¿no? En cambio aquí have es el verbo tener, poseer. Pero acá have es el auxiliar, ¿no? Este es el presente perfecto. Y ese es el simple past. Entonces se puede usar have como verbo tener y como auxiliar, ¿no? El haber. Yo he vivido, tú has vivido. Igual que el do se puede usar como verbo hacer, como auxiliar, did, que no tenía ningún significado. ¿Eh? So, how did we use this tense? Perdón, any questions?
No.
Okay, so how did we use the simple past?
For action that happened in the past and finished in the past.
Action that happened in the past, finished in the past, sometimes at a specific time. Now, to form questions, we use the auxiliary did. And as we said, question 3 is different because we don't have the subject like the other ones. Now, what about these other two questions? Where was Tabata Bunsen working when Grumpy Cat was born? Soon after the Reddit post, where was Grumpy regularly appearing? What tense is that?
Past continuous.
Continuous, and how do we use it?
Something that happened in the past, like progressive.
Progress in the past, exactly. see that we don't add an auxiliary to make these questions. No hay auxiliar did, ni have, ni nada. ¿Por qué? Porque todos los tiempos continuos se forman igual. El verbo to be más la forma ing del verbo principal, ¿no? Pero ya sea presente, I am doing, pasado, I was doing, futuro también, I will be doing, siempre es el verbo to be, y luego ing. Entonces, para las preguntas, por ejemplo, no hay auxiliar, simplemente es el verbo to be que actúa como auxiliar. What were you doing yesterday night? What was she doing when you arrived? Okay. Then we have these other two questions. What tenses are these?
Past perfect.
You sure?
Yeah.
No, la pregunta en sí es pasado simple. How did her owner say? Esta parte de acá es el past, pero la está en pasado simple.
Yeah.
How did her owner say that Grandpa had died? Entonces acá tenemos dos tiempos iguales. El pasado simple primero y luego el pasado perfecto. How did her owner say that Grumpy Cat had died? Pero no necesariamente tienen que estar juntos, ¿no? Podría ser la pregunta, when had she died? When had she died? Ahora sí, la pregunta es pasado perfecto. When had she died? Pasado perfecto. En este caso lo están mezclando para aclarar un poco más el uso del had died, para marcar la diferencia. Primero murió y luego dijeron. Primero cambió sus vidas y luego lo dijeron. How did her owner say that Grumpy Cat had changed their lives? So, lo importante acá en todos los tiempos perfectos, ya sea presente perfecto, pasado perfecto, se necesita siempre el participio. Esa es la parte un poquito más difícil. Change, died, felt. Written, been, seen, gone. Todos esos. And finally, what tense is this? How have Grumpy Cat fans felt since her death?
Present perfect.
How do we use it?
Something that is happening in the past until now.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is, okay, we're going to have to complete this, but I don't know how. Okay, where do we find that? It says, some information is missing, automatic questions. Okay. Okay, I think we're going to skip that one. Okay, let's see what we have in the text. Do you have any questions so far?
No.
So I think here in the text we just have the past continuous, but let's see. It says, first, let's read the article from the Riverdale Chronicle. So could you please read this article?
Riverdale. Yesterday at 6:30 p.m., the city of the Riverdale was in the darkness. The lights went out. Computer screen went blank. Trains came out sudden stop. Traffic signals went out. It was a mess. The CEO of Western Gas and Electric apologized to the people of Riverdale. He said, "The power was cut for an hour. We know it caused problems for a lot of people. We are doing our best to make sure it doesn't happen again."
Okay, thank you, Audrey. Now, do you have any questions here for vocabulary, Maybe?
No.
So let's imagine that we were in Riverdale right at 6:30 p.m. when the power went out. It says, where were you? What were you doing? Take turns telling your group the details of what happened to you when the power went out. Use when, the past continuous, and the simple past auxiliary story. For example, I was buying milk at the grocery store after work yesterday. When the lights went out, I was handing the cashier my money. So what were you doing? Let's imagine that you were in Riverdale yesterday at 6:30 p.m. What were you doing?
Maybe I was buying some stuff in the supermarket.
Right.
Then the lights went out, and all people was scared.
So you were buying groceries in the supermarket when, instead of saying and, you can say I was buying groceries in the supermarket when the power went out. Instead of all the people or all people, you can say everyone. Everyone was scared. And what did you do when the power went out? What did everybody do in the supermarket?
I went to I don't know how to say the cajeros.
The cashier?
I went to the cashier because I have a class later, so I needed to go to my department soon.
You needed to go to your apartment.
Yeah.
Apartment. Okay. Were you able to have class?
Oh, sorry.
Were you able to have class?
Unfortunately, I couldn't have my class because the lights went out yet.
I couldn't, or I wasn't able, or I couldn't have class, unfortunately, because the lights, what did you say?
Went out yet.
Yes, you want to say the lights todavía no regresaron, ¿no? Or what did you want to say?
Yeah, que todavía no regresaron.
Right? Because the lights, for example, you can say I couldn't have class because the lights hadn't or had not been back yet, for example. No habían regresado todavía. ¿No? I couldn't have class because the lights have not been back yet. Entonces, ¿qué pasó primero? Las luces, la luz, o también podemos decir power, ¿no? La luz o la energía no había vuelto aún. No pude tener clase porque la luz no había vuelto aún. I couldn't have class because the lights had not been back yet. Entonces ahí tenemos el negativo del pasado perfecto, had not been back. Okay. I don't know if we have it in the book. We probably have these tenses in the book, but we need to see the past perfect and the conditionals that are used with the past perfect as well. Okay, I'm going to check if we have that in the book, and if not, maybe we can do like an extra class. Okay. Any questions about this past continuous?
No.
Okay. So very quickly, let's check what vocabulary we have here. It says in the video, the receptionist advises Nick to cheer up. Let's look at this and other examples of advice below. So for example, cheer up. Do you know what it means?
Animar.
Exactly. That's why you have like cheerleaders, las animadoras. Cheer up means anímate, to become happy. What about go for it? Do you know what it means?
Like ve por eso.
Exactly. Yeah. Go ahead and do it. Go for it. What about to hang in there?
Mm, like sostener. ¿Sí?
Yes, exactly. It's like in this case, when we're giving like emotional advice, hanging there means don't give up, right? Hang in there. No te des por vencido. Aguanta un poco más. Like to remain determined to succeed, although things are not easy. Hang in there. Aguanta. To have a heart.
Tener corazón.
Exactly. So be a little bit nicer, be a little bit more kind, have a heart. Be more compassionate, maybe, when you want someone to be nicer or more helpful. So have a heart. Don't be so harsh on this person. Don't be so hard to yourself. Have a heart. Keep it cool or to keep cool.
Mantenerse tranquilo.
Exactly. It's like to take it easy, right? Tomárselo con calma, mantenerse tranquilo. Keep cool. Keep it cool. Take it easy. To remain calm, not nervous, upset, or excited. It's hard to keep cool when angry customers are shouting at you. It's hard to keep cool. It's hard to remain calm. Lighten up.
Like relaxing.
Exactly. It's like chill out, relax, lighten up a little. The opposite is when somebody is very tied up. Somebody that's tied up, somebody that's stressed, worried about things. And you say, lighten up a little bit, relax, chill out. Everything's okay. Used in order to tell someone not to be so concerned about something, be more relaxed. Yes. Stick to your guns.
No, I don't know.
So stick to your guns basically means even if people don't agree with what you're doing, even if people are against you, stick with your plan, stick with what you're doing, stick or like do what you believe is correct, right? Stick to your guns. To continue to say or do something, although people disagree with you. So it's like being loyal to what you believe, to what you stand for, stick to your guns. I know some people don't like your proposal, but I think you should stick to your guns. I think you should like you should stay with what you want to do or what you're doing. Even if people might not. Is that okay? To play it by ear.
Dejarse llevar.
Exactly. Play it by ear. It's technically stands for the it's like I think it comes from jazz, right? When you play things by ear, you play instruments by ear. So you improvise, right? You go improvising as you go. So you play it by ear. You're not planning things ahead, you're improvising to decide what to do as things happen instead of planning anything. Play it by ear. Dejarse llevar. Let's just play it by ear about the weekend. We don't have to decide what to do now. Let's improvise. Let's see what happens when we're there. Wait and see. Do you know what it means?
Maybe when you can't predict what will happen.
Exactly. So you can't do anything about what's going to happen. There's nothing you can change, anything you can control, anything that's going to happen. So you just have to wait and see. There's nothing else for you to do. So used to say that someone should not be anxious because they will find out about something later. So it's like not trying to change what you can change, right? Just wait and see. We don't know what he'll do, so we'll just have to wait and see. What about watch out?
I don't know.
Watch out, I mean, technically it can be like careful without a watch out. So maybe somebody's crossing the street and there's a car coming, and you're like, watch out. So that's like careful. Something's like, watch out, be careful. But it can also be, it doesn't necessarily have to be for that type of situation. It can also be for like, be careful in general. So let's say in your job, there's somebody who's trying to take your place. So you need to watch out. You need to be careful. You need to be looking for danger. Not necessarily it's going to be like danger, sudden danger, but can also be referring to other people, for example. Pay attention to what you're doing and not to do anything dangerous. Watch out, that knife is very sharp. So in this case, watch out, that knife is very sharp is like to avoid an accident. Same thing as with the car situation. Watch out is basically the same as be careful, cuidado. Watch out. Is that okay? Do you have any questions on that?
No.
Okay, great. So I'm going to assign you this activity so that you can practice the vocabulary we just learned, the 2 activities that we have for vocabulary, as well as some listening and grammar for the past continuous that we just saw.
Okay.
Do you have any questions about what we did today?
No, no, teacher. Everything's okay.
Okay, Adri, please don't forget today's survey before you go.
Okay, done.
Thank you so much. So I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, teacher. Thank you.